2, Scene 1. Professor Higgins' home, and it's 3 a.m.
Higgins, it was an immense achievement.
A silly notion. If I hadn't backed myself to do it, I should have chucked the whole thing up 2 months ago.
Absolutely fantastic.
A lot of tomfoolery.
Higgins, I salute you.
Nonsense. The silly people don't know their own silly business.
Tonight, old man, you did it. You did it. You did it. You said that you would do it, and indeed you did. I thought that you would rue it. I doubted you'd do it. But now I must admit it, that succeed you did. You should get a medal or be even made a knight.
It was nothing. Really nothing.
All alone you hurdled every obstacle in sight.
Now wait. Give credit where it's due. A lot of the glory goes to you.
But you're the one who did it. As sturdy as Gibraltar, not a second did you falter, there's no doubt about it. You did it. I must have aged a year tonight. At times I thought I'd die of fright. Never was there a momentary lull.
Shortly after we came in, I knew at once we'd easily win. And after that, I found it deadly dull.
You should have heard the oohs and ahs, everyone wondering who she was.
You'd think they'd never seen a lady before.
And when the Prince of Transylvania asked to meet her, and gave his arm to lead her to the floor, I said to him, you did it. They thought she was ecstatic and so damned aristocratic, and they never knew that you did it.
All I can say is thank heaven for Zoltan Carpathy. He was there all right, and up to his old tricks.
Carpathy, the dreadful Hungarian, he was there.
Yes. That blackguard who uses the science of speech more to blackmail and swindle than teach. He made it the devilish business of his to find out who this Miss Doolittle is. Every time we looked around, there he was, that hairy hound from Budapest. Never leaving us alone, never have I ever known a ruder pest. Finally I decided it was foolish not to let him have his chance with her. So I stepped aside and let him dance with her. Oozing charm from every pore, he oiled his way across the floor. Every trick that he could play, he used to strip her mask away. And when at last the dance was done, he glowed as if he knew he'd won. And in a voice too eager and a smile too broad, he announced to the hostess that she was
a fraud!
No! Her English is too good, he said, which clearly indicates that she is foreign. Whereas others are instructed in their native language, English people aren't. And although she may have studied with an expert dialectician and grammarian,
I can tell that she was born Hungarian. Not only Hungarian, but of royal blood. She is a princess!
Congratulations, Professor Higgins, for your glorious victory. Congratulations, Professor Higgins. You'll be mentioned in history. The secret conjugation is for your glorious victory.
I know that you said, but you did it, and the credit for it now all belongs to you.
All I can say is thank heavens it's all over. Now I can go to bed without worrying about tomorrow.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
It's nice to turn in as well, Higgins. It was a glorious evening.
Good night, Pickering. Oh, Mrs. Pierce! Damn. I wanted coffee in the morning instead of tea. Write her a little note, will you, Eliza? Where the devil are my slippers?
There are your slippers, and there, take
What?
your slippers. I mean, you never have a day's luck.
What on earth? What's the matter? What's wrong?
Nothing wrong with you. I've won your bet for you, haven't I? That's enough for you. I didn't matter, I suppose.
You won my bet. You? Presumptuous insect, I won it. What did you throw those slippers at me for?
Because I wanted to smash your face. I'd like to kill you, you selfish brute. Why didn't you leave me where you picked me out of in the gutter? You thank God it's all over so that you may throw me back there again, do you?
Ah, so the creature is nervous after all. Claws in, you cat! How dare you show me your temper? Sit down and be quiet.
What's to become of me? What's to become of me?
How should I know what's to become of you? What does it matter what becomes of you?
You don't care. I know you don't care. You wouldn't care if I was dead. I'm nothing to you, not so much as them slippers.
Those slippers!
Those slippers! I didn't think it mattered now.
Why have you suddenly begun going on like this in the middle of the night? May I ask whether you complain of your treatment here?
No,
Has anyone behaved badly to you, Colonel Pickering, Mrs. Spears?
no.
You don't pretend that I've treated you badly.
No.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Perhaps you're tired after the strain of the day. Have a chocolate.
No. Thank you.
I suppose it's only natural for you to be anxious, but it's all over now. Nothing's wrong. No one's hurting you.
Nothing wrong with you. Oh God, I wish I was dead.
Why? In heaven's name, why? Listen to me, Eliza. All this irritation is purely subjective.
I'm too ignorant. I don't understand.
It's all imagination. Nothing is wrong. No one is hurting you. Come, go to bed like a good girl. Have a little cry, say your prayers. Get up in the morning, and you'll feel more comfortable.
I heard your prayers. Thank God it's all over.
Well, don't you thank God it's all over? Now you are free and you can do what you like.
What am I fit for? What have you left me fit for? What am I to do? Where am I to go? What's to become of me?
So that's what's bothering you, is it? I shouldn't worry about that if I were you. I should think that you won't have much problem settling yourself someplace or other. I hadn't quite realized you were going away. You might marry, you know. You see, Eliza, not all men are confirmed old bachelors like me and the Colonel. Most men are the marrying sort. Poor devils. And you're not bad looking. You're quite a pleasure to look at times. Not now, of course. You've been crying and you look like the very devil, but when you're all right and quite yourself, come, go to bed. Have a good night's rest. Get up in the morning, look at yourself in the glass, and you won't feel so low. I dare say my mother could find some chap or other who will do very well.
We were above that in Covent Garden.
What do you mean?
I sold flowers. I didn't sell myself. Now that you've made a lady of me, I'm not fit to sell anything else.
Oh, tosh, Eliza. Don't insult human relations by dragging all that cant about buying and selling into it. You needn't marry the fellow if you don't want to.
What else am I to do?
Well, lots of things. What about that old idea of a florist shop? Pickering could set you up on one. He's got lots of money. You'll have to pay for all those togs you've been wearing, and that with the hire of the jewelry. Well, that'd put quite a hole in 200 pounds, but come, you'll be all right. I'm devilishly sleepy and I must clear off. I was looking for something. What was it?
Your slippers.
Oh, yes, you shied them at me.
Before you go, sir,
Eh?
do my clothes belong to me or to Colonel Pickering?
What the devil use would they be to Colonel Pickering? Why need you stop bothering about that in the middle of the night?
I only wish to know what I may take away with me. I don't want to be accused of stealing.
Stealing? Eliza, you shouldn't have said that. That shows a want of feeling.
I'm sorry, but I'm only a common ignorant girl, and in my station I have to be careful. There can't be any feeling between the like of you and the like of me. So, will you please tell me what belongs to me and what doesn't?
You may take the whole damned houseful if you like, except for the jewels. They're hired.
Stop, please. Will you take these to your room for safekeeping? I don't want to run the risk of them being missing.
Hand them over. If these belong to me instead of the jeweler, I'd ram them down your ungrateful throat.
This ring isn't the jeweler's. It's the one you bought me in Brighton. I don't want it anymore. Don't you hit me.
Hit you! You infamous creature. How dare you accuse me of such a thing? It is you who have hit me! You have wounded me to the heart!
I'm glad. At least I've got a little of my own back anyhow.
You have caused me to lose my temper. A thing that has hardly ever happened to me before. I prefer to say nothing more tonight. I am going to bed.
You better leave your own note for Mrs. Pierce about the coffee. But it won't be done by me.
Damn Mrs. Pierce! And damn the coffee and damn you! And damn my own folly for ever having lavished my hard-earned knowledge and the treasure of my regard and intimacy on a heartless gutter snipe.
Often walked down the street before, but the pavement always stayed beneath my feet before. All at once am I several stories high, knowing I'm on the street where you live. Are there lilac trees in the heart of town? Can you hear a lark in any other part of town? Does enchantment pour out of every door? No, it's just on the street where you live. And know the towering feeling, just to know somewhere you are near. The overpowering feeling that any second you may suddenly appear. People stop and stare, they don't bother me, for Darling!
What are you doing here?
Nothing, I spend most of my time here. Oh, don't laugh at me, darling, but...
Freddie, you don't think I'm a heartless gutter snipe, do you?
Of course not, darling. How could you say such a thing? You know how I feel about you. I've written you 2-3 times a day. Sheets and sheets. Speak, and the world is full of singing, and I am winging higher than the birds. Touch, and my heart begins to crumble. The heavens tumble, darling, and I...
Words! I'm so sick of words. I get words words all day through, first from him, now from you. Is that all you blighters can do? Don't talk of stars burning above. If you're in love, show me. Tell me no dreams filled with desire. If you're on fire, show me. Here we are together in the middle of the night. Don't talk of spring, just hold me tight. Anyone who's ever been in love will tell you that this is no time for a chat. Haven't your lips longed for my touch? Don't say how much. Show me, show me. Don't talk of love lasting for time. Make me no undying vow. Show me now. Sing me no song, read me no rhyme. Don't waste my time. Show me. Don't talk of June, don't talk of fall, don't talk at all. Show me. Never do I ever want to hear another word. There isn't one I haven't heard. Here we are together in what ought to be a dream. Say one more word and I'll scream. Haven't your arms hungered for mine? Please don't explain. Show me, show me. Don't wait until wrinkles and lines pop out all over my brow. Show me
Scene 3 of Act 2. It is 5 a.m. in the flower market at Covent Garden.
Lots of chocolate for me to eat. Lots of coal making lots of heat. Warm face, warm hands, warm feet. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? Oh, so lovely sitting out the blooming looney still. I would never budge till spring crept over me windowsill. Someone's head resting on my knee, warm and tender as she can be. Who takes good care of me? Oh, wouldn't it be lovely?
Good morning, miss.
Good
Can I
morning.
help you?
Excuse me, Mum. You remind me of somebody else.
Who?
Sorry, Mum. Early morning night playing tricks with me eyes.
Will you be needing a taxi, Mum? A lady like you shouldn't be wandering the streets of London alone this hour of the morning.
No, thank you.
Good morning, miss.
Good morning. Someone's head resting on my knee, warm and tender as he can be. Who takes good care of me? Oh, wouldn't it be lovely, 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 lovely. always welcomed here.
Thank you, Carol. Here, take yourself on a trip to Brighton.
Thank you, Mr. Doolittle. Dad.
See, Harry, that Higgins sent it down to spy on me. In my misery, he did. Me own flesh and blood. Well, I'm miserable, all right. You can go tell him that straight.
What are you talking about? What are you all dressed up for?
As if you didn't know. Go on back to that Whipple Street devil and tell him what he done to me.
What has he done to you?
He ruined me, that's all. Destroyed me happiness. Tied me up and delivered me into the hands of the middle class. And don't you defend him. Was it him or was it not him that wrote to an old American blighter named Wellingford and tell him the most original moralist in England was Alfred P. Doolittle, a corpsman dustman?
That sounds like one of his jokes.
You may call it a joke. Put a lid on me right enough. The bloke died and left me £4,000 a year in his blooming will.
Oh, come on, Alfie. You have to be at the church in a couple hours.
Church?
Yes, church, the deepest core of all. Why do you think I'm all dressed up like a bloody pallbearer? Your stepmother wants to marry me. Now I'm respectable. She wants to be respectable.
Well, if that's the way you feel, why don't you give the money back?
That's the tragedy of it, Eliza. It's easy to say chuck it, but I haven't the nerve. We're all intimidated. Intimidated, Eliza. That's what we are, and that's what I am. I've been brought up. That's what your precious professor has brought me to.
Not my precious professor.
Oh, sent you back, has he? First he shoves me in the middle class, and then he chucks you out for me to support you. All part of his plan. You double-cross him, Eliza. Don't you come home to me. Don't you take tuppence from me. You stand on your own 2 feet. You're a lady now. You can do it.
Eliza, it's getting awfully cold in the taxi.
I say, you won't come and see me get turned off this morning? St. George's, Hanover Square, 10 o'clock. I wouldn't advise it, but you're welcome.
No, thank you, Dad.
Are you all finished here?
Yes, Freddie. I'm all finished here. Good luck, Dad.
Oh, look, there it is. Oh,
there he is.
Come on, Alfie! How much time have I got left?
There's just a few more hours. That's all the time you've got. A few more hours before they tie the knot.
There are drinks and girls all over London, and I've got to track them down in just a few more hours. I get married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime. Pull out a stopper, let's have a whopper. Get me to the church on time. I've got to be there in the morning. Spruced up and looking in me prime. Girls, come and kiss me. Show how you're missing. Get me to the church on time. If I am dancing, roll up the floor. If I am whistling, let me out the door. For I'll get married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime. Kick up rumpus, but don't lose the compass. And get me to the church. Get me to the church. For God's sakes, get me to the church on time.
I'm getting married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime.
Drug me or jail me, stamp me and mail me.
But get me to the church on time. I got to be there in the morning. Spruced up and looking in me prime.
Some bloke was able lift up the table.
Get me to the church on time.
If I am flying, then shoot me down. If I am wooing, get her out of town.
For I'm getting married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime.
Better Tommy, call out the army.
But get me to the church, get me to the church. For God's sakes, get me to the church on time. Woo! Woo! I hope you're ready. Why are you looking good, sir?
Starlight is headed off to bed now. Sunshine is smearing up the sky.
Night is waking, daylight is breaking. Good luck, old chum. Good health. Goodbye.
I'm getting married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime. Hey,
Hail and salute me, then haul off in a ring. But get me to the church, get me to the church. For God's sakes, get me to the church on time.
Act 2, Scene 4. It is now 11 a.m. the following morning in Professor Higgins' study.
Pickering! Pickering!
I told you so. I don't know where the young woman's gone.
Pickering! Didn't she say where to send her clothes?
She took them all with her, sir.
What?
Here's the confounded thing. Eliza's bolted.
Bolted?
Yes, bolted. And Mrs. Pierce let her go without telling me a word about it.
Well, I'm dashed.
I don't understand it.
Did either of you gentlemen say anything to upset her last night?
You were there, Mrs. Pierce. We hardly said a word to her. Higgins, did you bully her after I went to bed?
Just the other way around. She threw the slippers at me. I never gave her the slightest provocation. The slippers came bang at my head before I even uttered a word. And she used the most perfectly awful language. I was shocked.
I'm dashed.
I don't understand it. She was shown every possible consideration. She admitted it herself.
Well, I'm dashed.
Pickering! Stop being dashed and do something about it.
What?
Well, call the police. What are they there for, in heaven's name?
You can't give Eliza's name to the police as if she were a common thief or a lost umbrella.
Why not? I want to find her. She belongs to me. I paid £5 for her.
Quite right. Scotland Yard, please. Mrs. Pierce, may I have some coffee?
Certainly, sir.
Hello, old fellow. Colonel Hugh Pickering here, 27A Wimpole Street. I'd like to report a missing person. Anything you can do to aid in her recovery will be frightfully appreciated. I am not without influence, and I'll certainly see to it that your superiors... Oh, yes, Eliza Doolittle. About 21. I should say about 5'7". Her eyes...
Brown.
Brown. Her hair... Well, it's a rather nondescript, neutral...
Brown.
Well, you heard what he said, brown. Yes, this is her residence.
Between 3 and 4 in the morning. No. No, ladies and all. Let's just say a good friend. I say, I am not at all pleased with the tenor of that question. What the girl does here is our affair. Your affair is to get her back so she can continue doing it.
Why can't a woman be more like a man? What in all of heaven could have prompted her to go? After such a triumph, after all. What could have depressed her? What could have possessed her? I cannot understand the wretch at all.
Higgins, I have an old school chum at the Home Office. I'll give him a call. Perhaps he could help. Whitehall, 7244, please.
Women are irrational, that's how they is to that. Their heads are full of cotton hay and rags. They're nothing but exasperating, irritating, vacillating, calculating, agitating, maddening, and infuriating bags.
Brewster budget, please. Yes, I'll wait.
Pickering. Why can't a woman be more like a man? Yes. Oh, why can't a woman be more like a man? Men are so honest, so thoroughly square, eternally noble, historically fair. Who when you win will always give your back a pat. Why can't a woman be like that? Why do they do everything the others do? Can't a woman learn to use her head? Why do they do everything their mothers do? Why don't they turn out like their fathers instead? Why can't a woman take after a man? Men are so pleasant, so easy to please. Whenever you're with them, you're always at ease. Would you feel slighted if I didn't speak for hours?
Of course not.
Would you be livid if I had a drink or two?
Nonsense.
Would you be wounded if I didn't bring you flowers?
Never.
Why can't a woman be like you? One man in a million may shout a bit. Now and then there's one with slight defects. One perhaps whose truthfulness you doubt a bit. But by and large we are a marvelous sex. Why can't a woman behave like a man? Men are so friendly, good-natured and kind. A better companion you never will find. If I were hours late for dinner, would you bellow?
Of course not.
If I ever got your silly birthday, would you fuss?
Nonsense.
Would you complain if I took out another fellow?
Never.
Why can't a woman be like us?
Brewster budget, please. Boozy, you'll never guess who this is. Yes, it is. By George, what a memory. How are you, old fellow? It's so good to hear your voice again. 30 years, is it really? Well, that's a lot of water under the, thing. Listen, Boozy, let me tell you why I've called. Something rather unpleasant has happened on this end. Could I come right over and see you? Oh, good. I'll be right there. Thank you, Boozy. Mrs. Pierce, I'm headed over to the Home Office.
Oh, I do hope you find her, sir. Mr. Higgins will miss her terribly.
Mr. Higgins will miss her? Blast Mr. Higgins, I'll miss her!
Pickering! Where's the Colonel?
He's gone over to the Home Office, sir.
Now you see, Mrs. Pierce, I'm disturbed and he runs to help. Now that's a good fellow. Mrs. Pierce, you're a woman. Why can't a woman be more like a man? Men are so decent, such regular chaps, ready to help you through any mishaps, ready to bump you up whenever you are glum. Why can't a woman be a chum? Why is thinking something women never do? Why is logic never even tried? Straightening up their hair is all they ever do. Why don't they straighten up the mess that's inside? Why can't a woman be more like a man? If I were a woman who'd been to a ball, been hailed as a princess by one and by all, would I start weeping like a bathtub overflowing? Or carry on as if my home were in a tree? Would I run off and never tell me where I'm going? Why can't a woman be like me?
Scene 5, later that same day, at the home of Professor Higgins' mother.
Do you mean to tell me that after you did this wonderful thing for them without making a single mistake, they never said a word? They never petted you, or admired you, or told you how splendid you'd been?
Not a word.
How appalling! I wouldn't have thrown the slippers at them. I would have thrown the fire.
Mother! Mother!
Oh, I thought it wouldn't be long. Stay where you are, my dear.
Mother, where the devil are you?
Remember, last night, you not only danced with the prince, but you behaved like a princess.
Mother, the damnedest... You.
Good afternoon, Professor Higgins. Are you quite well?
Am I?
But of course, you are never ill. Would you care for some tea?
Don't you try that game on me. I taught it to you. Now get up and come home and don't be a fool. You've caused me enough trouble for one morning.
Very nicely put, Henry. What woman could resist such an invitation?
How did this baggage get here in the first place?
Eliza came to see me, and I was delighted. And if you can't behave, I'm going to have to throw you out.
You mean I'm to put on my Sunday manners for this thing I created out of the squash cabbage leaves of Covent Garden?
That is precisely what I meant.
I'll see her damned first.
How did you ever learn manners with my son around?
It was very difficult. I should have never learned how ladies and gentlemen are to behave if it hadn't been for Colonel Pickering. He always showed me that he thought and felt about me as something better than a common flower girl. You see, Mrs. Higgins, apart from the things one can pick up, the difference between a lady and a flower girl is not in how she behaves, but in how she is treated. I shall always be a flower girl to Professor Higgins because he always treats me as a flower girl and always will. But I know that I shall always be a lady to Colonel Pickering because he always treats me as a lady and always will.
Henry, stop grinding your teeth.
The vicar is here, ma'am. Shall I show him to the garden?
The vicar?
Yes.
And the professor? Goodness, no. I'll see him in the library. Eliza, if my son starts throwing things, you have my permission to evict him. And Henry, if I were you, I would stick to two subjects: the weather and your health.
Well, Eliza, you've had a bit of your own back, as you call it. Have you had enough? And are you ready to come home? Or do you want any more?
You only want me back to pick up your slippers and put up with your tempers and fetch and carry for you.
I never said that I wanted you back at all.
Oh, indeed. Then what are we talking about?
About you, not about me. If you come back, I will treat you just as I have always treated you. I cannot change my nature, and I don't intend to change my manners. My manners are exactly the same as Colonel Pickering's.
That's not true. He treats a flower girl as if she was a duchess.
And I treat a duchess as if she was a flower girl.
Oh, I see. The same to everybody.
Just so. The great secret, Eliza, is not having bad manners or good manners or any particular manners, but having the same manner for all human souls. The question is not whether I ever treated you rudely, or whether you ever heard me treat anyone else better.
I don't care how you treat me. I don't mind your swearing at me. I shouldn't even mind a black eye. I've had one before, but I won't be passed over.
Then get out of my way, for I won't stop for you. You talk about me as if I was a motor bus.
And so you are a motor bus, all bounce and go without any consideration for anybody. But I can stand on my own. Don't you think I can't?
Huh, I know you can. I told you you could. You never wondered, I suppose, whether I could get along without you.
Don't you try to get around me. You have to.
And so I shall, without you or anyone else. But I shall miss you, Eliza. I've learned something from your idiotic notions. I confess that humbly and gratefully.
Well, you have my voice on your gramophone. Whenever you feel lonely without me, you can turn it on. It doesn't have any feelings to hurt.
I can't turn your soul on.
Oh, you are a devil! What am I to come back for?
For the fun of it! That's why I took you on.
And so you may throw me out tomorrow if I don't do everything you want me to?
Yes, and you may walk out tomorrow if I don't do everything you want me to.
And live with my father?
Yes, or sell flowers. You could marry Pickering, you know.
I wouldn't marry you if you asked me, and you're nearer my age than what he is.
Then he is.
I'll talk as I like. You're not my teacher anymore. That's not what I wanted. Don't you think it? I've always had chaps wanting me enough that way. Freddie Hill writes to me twice and 3 times a day, sheets and sheets.
Oh, I see. You want me to be as infatuated with you as he is that it?
No. No, that's not the sort of feeling I want. I only want a little kindness. I know I'm only a common ignorant girl and you a book-learned gentleman, but I'm not dirt under your feet. What I did was not for the dresses and the taxis, but because we were pleasant together. And I came to care for you, not to want you to make love to me, and not forgetting the difference between us, but more friendly-like.
Oh, yes, Eliza. That's just how I feel. And how Pickering feels. Oh, Eliza, you're a fool.
That's not a proper answer to give me.
Well, it's the only answer you'll get until you stop behaving like a plain idiot. Eliza, you've got to stop feeling neglected if the men you know don't spend half the time sniveling over you and the other half giving you black eyes. You think I'm cold. Very well. Be off with you to the sort of men you like. Find some sentimental hog or other with lots of money and a thick pair of lips to kiss you with, and a thick pair of boots to kick you with. If you can't appreciate what you've got, you'd better get what you can appreciate.
Oh, I can't talk to you. You turn everything against me, and I'm always in the wrong. I'll marry Freddie. I will, just as soon as I can support him.
Freddie? That poor devil who couldn't get a job as an errand boy, even if he had the guts to try for it? Woman, do you not understand? I have made you a consort for a king.
Freddie loves me. That makes him king enough for me. Besides, I don't want him to work. He wasn't brought up to it as I was. I'll go and be a teacher.
What will you teach?
What you taught me, I'll teach phonetics.
Ha, ha, ha.
I'll go and offer myself as an assistant to that brilliant Hungarian.
What? That humbug? That imposter? That toadying humbug? Teach him my methods, my discoveries? You take one step in that direction and I'll wring your neck. You hear?
Wring away. What do I care? I knew you'd strike me one day. So that's done you in, it has, Henry Higgins. Well, I don't care for your bullying and your big talk. What a fool I was. What a dominated fool to think you were the earth and sky. What a fool I was. What an addle-pated fool. What a mutton-headed dolt was I. No, my reverberating friend. You are not the beginning and the end.
You impudent hussy. There's not a word in your mouth or a thought in your head that I didn't put there.
There'll be spring every year without you. England still will be here without you. There'll be fruit on the trees and a shore by the sea. There'll be crumpets and tea without you. Art and music will thrive without you. Somehow Keats will survive without you. And there still will be rain on that plain down in Spain. Even that will remain without you. I can do without you. You, dear friend, who talk so well. You can go to and Hampshire. They will still rule the land without you. Windsor Castle will stand without you. And without much ado, we can all muddle through without you.
You brazen wretch!
Without your pulling it, the tide comes in. Without your twirling it, the earth can spin. Without your pushing them, the clouds roll by. If they can do without you, Ducky, so can I. I shall not be alone without you. I can stand on my own without you. So go back in your shell. I can do bloody well without
By
you.
George, I really did it. I did it. I did it. I said I'd make a woman, and indeed I did. I knew that I could do it. I knew it. I knew it. I said I'd make a woman, and indeed I did. Eliza, you're magnificent. 5 minutes ago, you were a millstone around my neck. But now, you're a battleship. You're a tower of strength. I like you like this.
Goodbye, Professor Higgins. I shall not be seeing you again.
Mother? Mother!
Henry, what is it?
She's gone.
What did you expect?
What am I to do?
Do without, I suppose.
And so I shall. Without her or anybody. If the Higgins oxygen burns up her little lungs, let her seek some stuffiness that suits her. She's an owl, sickened by a few days of my sunshine. Very well. I can do without her. I can do without anybody. I have my own soul, my own spark of divine fire.
Bravo, Eliza.
Damn! I've grown accustomed to her face. She almost makes the day begin. I've grown accustomed to the tune she whistles night and noon. Her smiles, her frowns, her ups, her downs are second nature to me now. Like breathing out and breathing in. I was serenely independent and content before we met. Surely I could always be that way again. And yet I've grown accustomed to her looks, accustomed to her voice, accustomed to her face. Mary Freddy, what an infantile idea. What a heartless, wicked, brainless thing to do. But she'll regret it. It's doomed before they even take the vow. I can see her now, Mrs. Freddie Eynsford Hill, in a wretched little flat above a store. I can see her now, not a penny in the till, and a bill collector beating at the door. She'll try to teach the things I taught her, and wind up selling flowers instead, begging for her bread and water, while her husband has his breakfast in bed. In a year or so, when she's prematurely gray, and the blossom in her cheek has turned to chalk, she'll come home and lo, he'll have upped and run away with a social climbing artist from New York. Poor Eliza! How simply frightful! How humiliating! How delightful! poignant it will be on that inevitable night when she hammers at my door in tears and rags. Miserable and lonely, repentant and contrite, shall I let her in or hurl her to the wolves? Will I take her back or throw the baggage out? Shall I show her kindness or the treatment she deserves? I'm a most forgiving man, the sort who never could, ever would, take a position and staunchly never budge. Just a most forgiving man. But I will never take her back. If she were crawling on her knees, let her promise to atone, let her shiver, let her moan. I will slam the door and let the hellcat freeze. But I'm so used to hear her say, good morning, every day. Her joys, her woes, her highs, her lows are second nature to me now. Like breathing out and breathing in. I'm truly grateful she's a woman and so easy to forget. Rather like a habit one can always break. And yet I've grown accustomed to the trace of something in the air, accustomed to her face.
I wash my hands and face before I come, I did.